The crime scene is at the intersection of Constitution and Delaware Avenues in Northeast Washington. We got an update from Capitol Police just a short time ago. Kobe Satterfield listened in on that briefing. And Kobe, what exactly did you learn?
We learned a lot, Larry, including, as of just within the hour, who this officer is who was killed in today's incident. You can take a look at his photo. Capitol Police say Officer Billy Evans died in the attack at the North Barricade today. He had been with the department for 18 years. He died after police say a lone assailant rammed his car into he and another officer who is currently in the hospital. The suspect, according to CBS, is 25-year-old Noah Green of Indiana. Police say right after Green entered the North Barricade of the Capitol and rammed his car into the two U.S. Capitol Police officers before hitting the barricade barrier. You can see up close that crime scene right here. Police say Green then got out of the car, yielding a knife, and started running and lunging towards officers. The suspect, police say, did not respond to verbal commands and was shot and killed by police. As for the safety of the community tonight, here's what D.C. Police Chief Conte had to say.
Does not appear to be an ongoing threat. Obviously, we're in the very early stages of our investigation. We need to obviously understand the motivation behind this senseless act. So the Metropolitan Police Department will certainly be doing that.
MPD's Homicide Division, as well as Internal Affairs Division, is taking over the investigation. Of course, we are in the early stages of this investigation, but police say this attack does not appear to be terrorism related, and the suspect does not appear to be known to Capitol Police or DC Police. As for the security posture surrounding the Capitol, police say there will be no enhanced security. It will remain as it is. Acting Police Chief Pittman for Capitol Police, though, is asking for the community to pray for the Capitol Police Department because, as we know, has been a very, very hard year for them.
Colby, you mentioned that security posturing. We can see behind you there is Constitution Avenue, and the barricades are up. We know that both Constitution and Independence Avenues only recently were reopened because of the heightened security after the insurrection on January 6th. So I wonder if Constitution Avenue being closed right now is part of that continuing security apparatus because of today, or if it's still closed because of that crime scene that they're investigating, if you happen to know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Adam, but I do know going down Constitution 2 days ago, I drove down this road and it was open. The barricades were down. So it would appear at this time that the barricades that still remain up right now that say stop are up following today's incident.
Kobe, thank you so much. We appreciate it.